Hello and welcome to CI1000 Week 4. My name is Rose Gossin and I am an instructor with Ultimate Medical Academy. Congratulations on your learning progress. During this week, you will learn how to develop documents using word processing software. Today, we will focus on how to apply naming conventions and save Word documents. I'm sharing this information to enhance the content for this week's assignment. As you process your documents, it is critical for your success to apply a naming convention and to save the Word document because it will help you to find the information. Have you ever typed a document and when you've completed it, it seems that it's lost and you can't find it? You feel as though you've done it, but now you can't for the life of you find out where it is. When you talk about what's in a name, everything is in a name. It is the identifier. Just like you have a name and I have a name, it identifies who we are. The naming convention is used to identify the document. And so we will look at the why, how, and the what of naming conventions. Naming conventions, which are a set of rules for how you name your document, are used there to help with organizing the information. Once you've completed your document, you want to name it in a way that would organize it on your desktop or on your hard drive in your computer files. So it's good for organizing the information, and it also helps with sharing the information. You may have to send that document by email to someone, or you may have to place that document in a particular file, someone else's file. You may have a shared file. Naming the document helps the individual that you're sharing it with to know what and where they can locate the information that you're sharing. It is also used for us to track the information. It also includes the date, and it allows you to know when the document was created. So it's using the naming convention for organization, for sharing, and as well as for tracking. How do we use naming convention? Some of the best practices that we have for naming conventions is to keep it short but descriptive, to keep it consistent. You want to keep it consistent because you don't want to name a document one way, forget how you were naming it that day, and now it's named another way, and you can't tell now what's going on with your documents. So you want a kind of consistency of practice so that it makes it easy for you and any other users to understand what the document is. You also want to save the document and name it without special characters. Like, you don't want to use asterisk or anything like that when you're naming your document. You do want to use capitals or underscores, and then you want to use dashes versus slashes when you're naming your document. Some of the best practices in naming your document is to use the date that you created it. That helps you to reflect back, what day was that? And so you can look in your calendar and see that, hey, it was created on last Monday or last Tuesday, and you know what the date was. So then you'll use the creation date to help instruct you and inform others of the date that it was created. You can also use the course title, such as CI1000, in your naming convention. If you're taking more than one classes, you would want to, or more than one class, you would want to use the course title CI1000, but you also may be taking another class and you want to use that, whatever it is, maybe ME 1620 or whatever the course may be, so that when you're looking at the documents and trying to find it, you know which course it is for. You may also want to look at the week number, whether it's week 1, week 2, 3, 4, 5. That helps you to identify which week the document was for. And of course, you may want to use assignment type. Maybe it's a extra credit assignment, or it's your week 1 assignment. Whatever type it is, you might want to use the word assignment and specialize in determining whether it's a assignment or extra credit or whatever you'd like for to identify it. You can also use draft or final so that you'll know, is this something that I was practicing on before I wanted to submit the final, or is this the actual final document? That's really helpful if you are trying to create something and you're not quite sure or not quite finished with it. You may want to send it to your instructor so that they could review it, or your advisor. This is just a draft, so it may be good to use that in your naming convention to help you and the person that you're sharing it with to understand what it is that you're sharing. And then there are times when you're instructed in your assignments to name your document a certain way. So it must be specific, that is named exactly as it is stated in your assignment. There is no variation there. So please be careful with those kinds of details. Make sure if there is a requirement in your assignment that you do it exactly as was stated. So what name will you give this document? We see a document here and we have to give it a name now that we've completed it. There are some kinds of decision making that you would want to use to decide how to name your document. So there's the title or type that you want to use as part of the decision making. Perhaps you want to use a date or a due date, or you may want to use the class name. And I've decided that I'm going to use a combination of those, and I've used computers as my title. Then I've included the date here, I've included the class, and lastly, I've included my last name. This all helps to identify my naming convention and the document so that once I'm looking for it, I'll know exactly what it means. I'll know the date that it was created. I'll know what class it's for, and I'll know what it's all about. Lots of information in the name. So here's another naming convention example. And in this naming convention, it's very detailed. And yours does not have to be as detailed as is displayed here. But there are a couple of things that I want to bring to your attention. In this naming convention, one of the things that they did is they used the period. 3, and then you'll see it was the last period. They've had the first name that they want to use, the last 4 of the ID, the project name, and this part right here, you don't have to worry about because whatever it is, if it's a Word document, it'll have docx. If it's a picture, you can make it a PDF file. If you want to save it a Word document, you would just save it with the extension PDF. If it's a picture, you'll use JPG or PNG. And those are just things that you can select to determine whether you want to retain it as a Word document or change it to another type of document. So now what you have created the document, you want to do something with it. What do? You need to review the document again, because remember the document could have been saved, or you might want to save it as a draft. So you want to review the document, review the name, then you want to select the location and save the document. Review the document, review the name, select the location, and then save the document. Saving your document is very important because I don't know about you, but there have been times when there have been power outages or for whatever reason in this world, the computer shuts down and your document is in jeopardy. Saving your documents frequently is very important. Now, if you're using a cloud format, we'll talk about that. The document is automatically saved. So there's a lot of different ways that you can save the document. Save, save as, save a copy, then there's Control S and autosave. When you use the word save or find save, this will save the document without asking for a new name or location. Whatever your document was named, if it had a name, it would overwrite the original name. So when you use just save, it will save the document just as it is. If you use save as, it will prompt you to save the document using a dialog box. You can then change the name of the file or the location. So if you're working on a document and you want to save that copy as something else, you would then select Save As. And then you would name the document, and then it will save it for you. If you select Save As, it will overwrite the original document if you do not select another location. If you're working in a cloud format on your OneDrive, you will have the options to save a copy. Save a copy prompts you to save a copy of the document. It'll give you a dialog box again. You can change the name of the file and the location. So you can see here on the display that you would enter the name of the document here. You would select where you want it saved or what kind of document you want it saved. And here we've got a Word document, just a regular Word document. You would either use the icon that looks like a little disc. You can hit Control S on your keyboard. To the left there's a CTRL plus S. If you hold those down at the same time, it will also save your document. Or in some cases, you'll see this kind of dialog box pop up when you save your document, and you'll simply go here and save it. Save as is pretty much the same process. You'll go here and save as, and then it'll let you select where you want to save the document. You can either use this format or you can go on your ribbon and click Save As. If you're using OneDrive, it will allow you to save a copy. So you can see Save a Copy to your left. It automatically saves the words that you're typing every 10 seconds. But you can also use Save As and direct it to another place. Location is very important when you're saving your documents. When you're saving your documents, besides allowing you to determine what type of document you want to save, it'll let you save it to your desktop, save it to your downloads. Is it a shared document? It allows you to save it in a lot of different places. So you need to select the place you want to save it to. A good rule of thumb is to save it to your desktop if you're not sure which file you want to save it to later. If it's on your desktop, at least you know where it is and you can save it later to another location. You've learned today how to apply naming conventions and why they are important. They help you to understand where and why you created your document. You've also learned how to save your documents. So as you reflect on this topic and prepare to do the work for the rest of this week, please use this content, your reading materials, the interactives in the course room, your research from the UMA library or any other reliable access or sources to maximize your learning. I want to encourage you to keep going strong, and thank you.